Welcome to Uranus, 3 billion kilometers from home, and right away, something here breaks the usual rules. Every other planet spins like a top. Uranus spins sideways, knocked onto its side at 98 degrees. Out here, solar power is practically useless. The sun is just a brilliant, piercing needle of light, casting a pale blue glare across 4 billion kilometers of absolute freezing emptiness. Look at that hue. It isn't liquid water. Methane gas in the upper atmosphere acts like a filter, swallowing red sunlight and reflecting this pure, unearthly aquamarine glow. And check out those rings cutting across the horizon. They aren't bright like Saturn's broad, reflective sheets. They're razor-thin, charcoal dark, and practically invisible until you hit the exact right angle. That outer Epsilon ring should spread apart over time. It stays tight because tiny shepherd moons like Cordelia there constantly herd the ring dust back into line with their relentless gravitational tugs. Because of that extreme 98-degree tilt, this North Pole points almost directly at the sun. It gets 42 years of continuous daylight, followed by 42 years of total dark. Time to drop down into the ring plane itself. From far away, these rings look like smooth lines. Up close, it's a completely different story. We're entering a belt of dark boulders. Look at the surface of these ring boulders. They aren't white water ice, they're black as soot. Millions of years of cosmic radiation have baked-trapped methane organics into dark carbonized crusts. Leaving the rings behind, dropping toward the atmosphere. Looking down, there's no solid ground below me. Just 50,000 kilometers of compressed gas, stretching down into the dark. Even in the thin upper air, winds here are brutal. Supersonic jet streams whip around the equator, pushing atmospheric currents at 900 kilometers an hour, driven by internal planetary physics. Faint white cirrus clouds are starting to appear. They look peaceful from this altitude, gliding over the vast, featureless turquoise blanket, but we're falling right toward them. Coasting along the top of the cloud deck now. My suit heaters are running at absolute maximum. If my internal climate control fails for 5 seconds, I turn into a human popsicle. Speaking of popsicles, look right down there. That massive dark oval is a great dark spot, a storm system bigger than the Atlantic Ocean, whirling silently inside the upper methane haze. From straight above, it looks entirely motionless. These bright methane ice cloud decks float serenely, suspended over thousands of aquamarine depth, without a single speck of solid surface below. We just hit the 1-bar pressure line. Right here, temperatures drop to -224, making Uranus officially the coldest atmosphere in the entire solar system. Brrr, dropping below 1 bar into murky troposphere layers. The bright turquoise sky is rapidly fading now, filtered out into a heavy twilight blue mist as density builds around my suit. And now for a fun chemical surprise. These murky cloud decks are loaded with hydrogen sulfide. If I pulled off my helmet visor right now, it would stink like millions of rotten eggs. Not that I'm taking off the helmet. Methane frost is literally freezing onto my visor. The atmospheric pressure is steadily climbing, and ambient daylight is almost completely gone. Down at 100 kilometers, water clouds begin forming. Whoa! Massive electrical discharge behind me. Deep atmospheric lightning bolts, miles long, forging through compressed ammonia cloud decks. The lightning flashes are the only light left. Sunlight can't penetrate this far into the gloom. The sheer mass of hydrogen pressing down is starting to groan against suit seals. Check out my wrist suit diagnostics spinning. The magnetic field here isn't aligned with rotation. It's tilted 59 degrees off-axis and offset by 1/3 of the planet, floating weightless inside thick supercritical fluid. At 300 kilometers deep, gas acts liquid. It's pitch black, hot, and insanely dense, suspending me in total alien darkness. Heavy thermobaric currents pushing hard against suit thrusters. The ocean of compressed gas is squeezing tight. Time to fire main thrusters and ascend before pressure crushes us permanently. Escaping the atmosphere back out to night-side orbit. Look at that wild, tumbling corkscrew magnetosphere. Because the magnetic field is so wildly off-center, auroras ripple in glowing, twisting ribbons. Leaving orbit now, heading for Uranus's strangest moon. That is Miranda, suspended ahead in deep vacuum. It looks like a world shattered into pieces and haphazardly glued back together. Hovering 10 kilometers above Verona Rupes right now. Look down that edge. That is a sheer ice cliff 20 kilometers deep, the tallest known cliff in the solar system, 10 times deeper than the Grand Canyon, stepping right up to the very lip of the drop. Because Miranda's gravity is so absurdly weak, if you accidentally slipped off this edge right now, it would take 12 full minutes to hit the bottom. Looking straight down at these chaotic geological billions of years ago, violent tidal forces from Uranus shattered Miranda apart, and low gravity pulled the icy blocks back together into this jigsaw puzzle world. Hanging out over the middle of the abyss. You could literally leap off this cliff with a jetpack and land completely unharmed at the bottom. Though I wouldn't recommend testing that theory. Up close on these crystalline water ice walls, with a gravity of 0.008 grams and no wind or rain to erode the rock, these fault scarps stay razor sharp for billions of years. drifting midway between two colossal ice walls. The silence inside this canyon is total. 20 kilometers of sheer frozen rocking me inside a cathedral of pure ice. Rising back up out of the chasm now, look at what dominates Miranda's sky behind me. Giant aquamarine Uranus hangs suspended over the ice, filling 11 times more sky than our moon does. Watching the sunlit blue crescent from Miranda's orbit. Whoa! Silent impact flash on the ice below. A tiny space pebble hitting the regolith, a gentle reminder that space is never truly quiet. Heading outbound into the deep solar system now. I'm leaving behind a world where a single season lasts 42 years of endless light or total dark, spinning on its side in absolute solitude. Looking back at that pale aquamarine marble. We used to think Uranus was an oddball outlier, but exoplanet discoveries show ice giants like this are actually the most common world type in the galaxy. The faint dark rings fade into the cosmic dark, a quiet frozen world perfectly content in its strangeness. Until the next horizon, keep looking up. Commander Eli Brandt, signing off.